Are you familiar with the concept of synchronicity? The word actually comes from Carl Jung, the psychologist. And specifically, it's about things that happen in life that don't seem to be related in terms of cause, but do seem to be related. Like things that happen independently that seem related. And specifically recently, I was thinking about synchronicity, and I was thinking about that success that inexplicably comes when you start taking action. Like you're doing a ton of things, and for whatever reason, things seem to start to click. They seem to start to work together, and you start to achieve success. And it's not always one for one in terms of, oh, like I can tell that because I did this thing, it caused this success. It's like I show up and I'm doing all these things, and then successes seem to come out of nowhere. And I can't attribute cause to this. Like that's part of the whole premise of synchronicity, right? But I do believe in it. And I believe that it benefits me in my life and my business and my finances and my success. And I believe that if you're open to it, it can probably benefit you in your life, your business, and your successes. So we're going to talk more about specific types of synchronicity in business and marketing and your career today. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. Before we dive into today's topic, today's episode is sponsored by me, as always. And specifically, if this is something that resonates with you and you're in business and marketing, I certainly want you to check out my Training Your Subconscious Success Mechanism course training through BTMSinsiders. It's all about really getting your subconscious on board with your conscious goals for success for yourself. And it's part of my BTMSinsiders training library, like Netflix for copywriting and marketing training, where you pay one low fee. You get access to all the training that's there, including that Training Your Subconscious Success Mechanism. All the links you need are in the description. So recently I was looking a little bit into synchronicity and like different teachings on it, etc. And one person actually talked about 4 specific different types of synchronicity. And I think sometimes having this kind of classification system can help us be open to that synchronicity. So I want to start there. There is a huge bit of synchronicity that's maybe familiar to you. It's messages that you receive, messages that you notice, messages that just seem to show up in the world and be a perfect fit for you. Now, I can't tell you where these come from, if it's random circumstance, if it's your subconscious speaking sometimes, if it's like a thing that you hear, like an idea that you have inside, or if it's maybe your reticular activating system, which is a part of your brain or your mind that actually, once you tell it to look for something, will actually help you identify it and find it. So if I tell you, if we go to a football stadium and I tell you to look for blue shirts, you're going to immediately be able to pick out the blue shirts in the crowd, but you may not notice the red shirts or the yellow shirts or whatever until I tell you to look for blue shirt or red shirts or yellow shirts or whatever, right? So sometimes it's just that we find the things that we're looking for, right? But what I'll say is that this has been very beneficial to me throughout my career in lots of ways, including, for example, with copywriting. If I am working on a new project and I'm going through that whole research phase where I'm trying to figure out exactly what the message is, what the big idea is that I'm going to write about, suddenly my mind will be tuned in and looking for things. And so a news headline that I might not otherwise pay any attention to, suddenly, boom, it's like front and center, jumps out at me as like, oh, that's going to be a key component of the big idea for my promo. Or sometimes it's something else completely. My friend and client, Perry Marshall, he actually recently published a book called Memos from the Head Office, which is a different type of interpretation of these messages. And specifically, he has a whole service for his members that's about these memos from the head office. And I don't know what your belief is around this, but he believes that there's a head office somewhere out there. And it actually speaks to us with messages. And he has some pretty compelling stories about this in his book, Memos from the Head Office, which I actually got a pre-release copy from him. The stories are interesting and compelling there. What Perry believes is that we get messages if we are able to listen to them. And so, for example, one of the things that I think about when I'm journaling every day is I will specifically ask questions that I don't know the answer to, and I will listen for the answer. I don't know where that answer comes from. You might have some assumptions. I don't know where it comes from. It's a mystery to me. But I will find answers by asking the questions and just writing it out. I don't know. Sometimes somebody will say the right thing to you at the right time, and you'll know that it's the right thing at the right time. It's a message received. Or sometimes you'll be wandering in a bookstore and something jumps off the shelf at you, or wandering in the library, something jumps off the shelf at you as like, for whatever reason, I'm interested in that and I need to read it. And then you figure out what the meaning is, why you noticed that particular book among the thousands that was available. There's lots of different ways that we can receive messages if we are willing to be open to them. And the synchronicity of this is when those messages are useful, valuable to us, then, maybe there's something to that, right? The second type of synchronicity is opportunity that seems to arrive exactly when it's ready. And so the way that this has shown up in my life quite a few times is unexpected referrals, right? I'm not really searching for a particular client or something at that time, but then something shows up and it happens to be the right time for the right client, and I have like the exact right thing for them. And it's a matter of being ready to seize these opportunities when they show up, and not necessarily, like, the thing about synchronicity is you don't necessarily control it. You can just be open and ready to respond to it. Open to seeing it, hearing it, experiencing it, embracing it, and ready to respond to it when it shows up. So sometimes we spend years getting ready for the right opportunity. And sometimes it can be frustrating because we consciously try through hard work and effort and whatever to create the right opportunity. And we are completely frustrated because it doesn't show up. And then often at that moment when we have already given up, boom, like it shows up and it's better than we expected. And I would say, like, you can't just wait for it to show up. There is something to this. In the intro, I talked about the success that inexplicably comes when you start taking action. These things show up when you start taking action. It's just that you can't always tie it to that action. There's also pivots is a next type of synchronicity. Conscious changes that you make. And what makes this a type of synchronicity is specifically when you're making these, not necessarily because you know this next thing, this other thing is the thing that you need to be working on, but when you just get a gut feeling and you think, oh, geez, like I should do this and I don't exactly know why. The question is, are you going to listen to it? Like, I should do this side project. I should start this thing. I don't know, this book is speaking to me that I need to write it, or this particular product is something that I need to buy and I don't know why. Like, sometimes it comes in the form of that, right? I'm not telling you to buy my product based on that, but maybe, right? But sometimes there's just a gut feeling like this is the right thing for me. And it's the right time for me to do it. And I don't completely understand why, but it's here in front of me and it's something that I need to do right now. And I'm making that conscious change to go in a different direction. And sometimes that's a dumb decision, right? And I can't necessarily give you some ultimate rule for the difference between a dumb decision and a gut feeling that is like perfect synchronicity. But it's certainly something that happens, and it's happened to me plenty of times. Even like discovering copywriting and deciding, like, holy cow, like I got a degree in psychology and I was a writer, and then I found this book, The Well-Fed Writer, and I don't even remember exactly how I found it, but it completely changed my perception of where I would go with my life. I mean, I was working at the gas company's customer service call center and getting yelled at because we shut people's gas service off on the first warm day of spring. And then I found this book, The Well-Fed Writer, and I said, this is for me. And within a few months, I was a marketer and I was involved with entrepreneurship. And now I have my own business as a copywriter and publisher and all of that. And then there's the type of synchronicity that can feel even more magical sometimes. And this might fall under the realm of manifestation, right? Where things just seem to show up in your life at the right time. And I feel like I can always, like, there's always some, if you want to assign a sequence of causes to this, you can usually come up with it. It's easy to see how things come together in the rearview mirror, right? But it's not always clear, like, why you were at the right place at the right time for this to show up. So, for example, I've been a part of this advertising community for a long time. I was doing some YouTube advertising and really experiencing some frustration. And then at the right moment, right after I was feeling frustration, this is the whole, like, the success that inexplicably comes when you start taking action. I was feeling frustration about some initial tests that I was doing on YouTube. And then something showed up where this guy said basically, like, here's why it's not working. Here's why YouTube has changed significantly, like the experience of YouTube advertising. And here's what you need to do specifically to take this new path. And it was like that showed up, and it happened to be at just the right time to be a part of a group and opportunity that, if it was much earlier or much later, it would not have been the same experience. And so it was a matter of things showing up at the right time because I was in there doing the work and I was ready for it. The key here, if you want to make any of these different types of synchronicities work, messages showing up or opportunities showing up or those gut feelings that lead you towards a productive pivot or manifestation of just like the right thing showing up at the right time, you have to have a clear head, a clear heart. You have to be open to it. You might have to do some work on yourself if you're all caught up in yourself and like very internally focused. It's hard for you to be open to these things happening around you, and you have to be willing to like listen and open up for this inspiration for whatever it is. And the other thing is you do have to show up. You have to be doing the work every day. You have to be doing that small work that I've talked about. You have to be doing the work that is necessary to be in the game. Like it's like you can't make the game-winning touchdown if you're not on the field. And that actual moment where the pass goes and it's coming to you and you're crossing the goal line and it's like a lucky tip or something like that makes it land right in your hand. All of that stuff doesn't happen. All that synchronicity, whatever, of everything coming together for that moment to happen doesn't happen unless you're in the game. And so, I don't know like the exact takeaway from this, but what I will say is that there is a lot in this world that I don't understand, and there's some big mysteries about like why things line up, and maybe some of it is just luck or random chance or whatever. But I also know that a lot of it only happens because I'm here making myself available to random chance and luck working out in my favor. And I strongly encourage you to do all those things that make luck and random chance work out in your favor too, and to invite synchronicity into your life. And if you want to go deeper into any of the stuff that I've mentioned, remember the links are in the description to Training Your Subconscious Success Mechanism, also Small Work, Big Productivity, and BTMS Insiders. And I'll make sure to also include a link to Perry's book, Memos from the Head Office. It's it's interesting and different. But if you resonated with this episode, you're probably going to resonate with that book as well. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Hey, with every episode, I aim to help you grow your marketing genius, even when sometimes it's something completely different than what you might think of as everyday marketing advice. So hope that I've done that with this episode, and I'll catch you again next time. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.